Professor Marandi, what do you make of Saudi Arabia's decision to execute the Shia cleric? What do you think might be and should be the correct response coming from your country, Iran?
Well, the Iranians believe that the murder of this cleric this religious scholar who never carried arms and never called for military uprising was completely unjustified. On the other hand, recently when the Russian and Syrian air forces bombed a target in Syria, killing Zahran Aloush, the head of Jaish al-Islam, an ally of Al-Qaeda, and the person who said that Osama bin Laden was a great person, the Saudis expressed regret about his death. So this is really the state of affairs. The Iranians believe that Saudi Arabia has really gone too far in promoting extremism. This is not, from the Iranian perspective, about Shia versus Sunni. This is about Wahhabism versus everyone else. The Wahhabi groups like ISIL, like Al-Qaeda, and Boko Haram, and the Taliban, all of these groups have the Wahhabi ideology, and all of them are carrying out extremist acts in different countries, and they are becoming a threat even to your own country. We have almost 1,000 Chinese nationals fighting in Syria and Iraq now, and all of them are Wahhabis, some of them educated in Saudi Arabia.
Well, Professor, both sides we have noticed are being accusing each other rather about the possibility of the other becoming the terrorist or the inspiration of terrorists. So let me just ask you, which I asked earlier as well, what should be the appropriate level of response coming from Iran? Is that what happened in Iran?
Well, if you are referring to the protests in front of the embassy, they got out of control, and you're absolutely correct. 38 people were arrested. Fortunately, no one was hurt. And the government also, as well as the different politicians in the country, have all said that the protesters went way too far. But that doesn't justify Saudi behavior. Just a few months ago, hundreds of Iranians were killed during the Hajj pilgrimage, and the Saudis didn't even express remorse. We have, a couple of months ago, we had a terrorist attack in the city of Dezful, where 2 people were killed, and Iranian intelligence discovered that the terrorists that were captured were funded by Saudi intelligence. So the Iranians feel that the problems that the Saudis are creating are not just problems for Syria or for Iraq. It's becoming a global issue. The terrorists in the suicide bombers in Lebanon, they were Wahhabi. The suicide bombers and attackers in Paris were of the same ideology.
I see.
There has to be a link between all of these, and countries have to start raising questions.
We hope we're going to have your Saudi counterpart to respond to your accusations later in our program, if he can make his way to the studio. And for now, let me go to you, Professor He in Beijing. What do you make of the various responses coming from the Western countries and also from the UN and the European Union? The U.S., quote-unquote, was apparently surprised by the apparent absence of dual process before the execution of the 46 others together with this Shia cleric was made in Saudi Arabia. Meanwhile, Ban Ki-moon talking about, quote-unquote, deeply dismayed about what happened. The European Union talked about the freedom of expression inside the Saudi Arabia. What do you make of these waves of responses coming from various countries, including Saudi Arabia's traditional ally, for example, the United States this time?
Yes, I think it's very understandable about all those responses from UN and the US and other Western countries, because this is fit with their values very much. Because from the perspective of Westerns, those values they have been adhered to for such a long time, like justified like justice and jurisdiction, and also like a trial, the fair trial, all of that, because this cleric has been regarded as a prisoner, it's not a terrorist, because for himself, he's been saying he's doing peaceful like protest and calling for his supporters to express their wishes. So it seems to be it's different with like those terrorists, like suicide bombing or like killing those innocent people. So that's the different judgment. So I think this is fit with, one is fit with the value. Another is because for the Western countries, they care very much about this ongoing Syria peaceful talk, this negotiation, because this deal bring the Syria crisis on the negotiating table has been achieved through a very hardship negotiating process. Now at this timing, with this new round of sectarian conflict, maybe that will derail that Syria crisis, those negotiation process. That's a big concern, especially for European countries.
That we are finally joined by our Saudi Arabia panelist, Khaled Batarfi, who is a senior columnist of Saudi Gazette and professor at Al-Faisal University in Saudi Arabia. Mr. Batarfi, we have been waiting for you for a long time. We, in fact, have already extended our discussion just to wait for your arrival so that we can have a more fairer debate. Earlier, your Iranian counterpart, Professor Marandi, has expressed the views from his perspective. I want to have your views, Mr. Batarfi, about what can Saudi Arabia do now with the international community's efforts to urge Sunni-Shia divide, of lessen the Sunni-Shia divide, and also now to go further into proxy wars, even though we've seen already some Sunni-Shia countries expressed dismay as one another, to say the least.
That's unfortunate, but Saudi Arabia didn't ask any Sunnis to go in demonstrations or to attack Iranian embassies or to do anything against them, but they did. They asked Hezbollah and they asked their stooges in Iraq and everywhere to attack us and to attack the Sunnis. Today in Iraq there was 2 Sunni mosques that were burned and attacked, and that's very sorry thing. That's something Iran has to do. For us, we never did that and we never do it.
But on the other hand, we see a lot of accusations coming from international community, even including the United States, the European Union, and the United Nations, not to mention, of course, your counterpart in Iran, accusing Saudi Arabia government of violating human rights and also doing the execution of the Shiite cleric without sound reasoning. What do you make of it?
Sound of reasoning, that's funny. I mean, if you want really funny things, go and check the 1,000 people who were killed in Iran, executed in Iran this year only, 2015. Iran is #1 in the world in executions, and they have no reasoning. They just say that they are against the government or they are.
But it's not just from Iran, Mr. Batarfi, as you may know, it's not just from Iran, but also from your traditional allies such as the United States, the European Union, and also the international organizations such as the United Nations.
Okay. I was telling an American yesterday who thought this is an escalation. I told him, did you think the same way when you assassinated Osama bin Laden? Did you think of the consequences that, were you afraid of that the terrorists will attack you? When we did that, it's our right. He's a Saudi citizen who violated the rules, and he was one of 47. 2 only were Shiite. The rest were Salafis and Sunnis, and they were executed for the same problem, for terrorism. And an Iranian only concerned with 1 person because he believed in Wilayat al-Faqih, that he believed that he is an Iranian more than a Saudi. Well, so if America would care, and the European, I mean, look at France, they changed the constitution in few days because of terrorist attacks. So I don't think there is anybody who is in position to advise us on this. When it is national security, it's a red line for everyone.